Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today we are going to discuss the topic that is your determination of total dissolved solid, and the method that we are going to use is a gravimetric method. Okay, so we all know that there is a solid which are dissolved into a water. So here we have to determine that solid that is called a total dissolved solid, and the method that we are going to use for the determination of this is gravimetric method. So let's start today's lecture. Principle, the see the principle at which this experiment are based on: the sample is filtered and the filtrate are evaporate. Okay, what we have to do, we have take a sample. Now we filter this sample. Okay, and we evaporate the filtrate in a tar dish on a steam bath, and the residue after evaporation is dry to a constant mass, and the temperature at which this residue are dry is at 103 to 105 degrees Celsius or 179 to 181 degrees Celsius. And then the remaining is what? It is a total dissolved solid. Okay, now the next one, interference. Okay, so the first interference is that we all know that water is what? Water is highly mineralized, which contain a significant concentration of calcium, magnesium, chloride, sulfate, and they are what? They are hygroscopic in nature. Okay, so these may require a prolonged drying, desiccation, and rapid weighing. However, the prolonged drying may also cause loss of the constituent, particularly the nitrates and the chloride. Okay, so we all know that water contain a high amount of minerals. Okay, and these minerals are what? They are either calcium, magnesium, chloride, and sulfate, and they are what? They are hygroscopic in nature. Okay, so they required a prolonged drying, desiccation, and rapid weighing. But when we prolong dry the sample, then maybe there is a loss of the constituents, particularly the nitrates and the chloride. Okay, so the next interference is that a large amount of residue in a evaporating basin may crust over and interrupt a water, preventing its evaporation during a drying. For this reason, the volume of the sample should be adjusted so that the residue left after drying should be about 100 to 200 milligrams. So after the drying, the residue that we get, the weight of that residue should be at the range of 100 to 200 milligram. Okay, now the next one, apparatus required for this experiment. So we required a filter. Oh, and this filter is what? Any one of the following filter can be used. The first one is your glass fiber filter disc, that is your Wattmann GF slash C or equivalent, 2.1 to 5.5 centimeter in diameter. Pore size is 1.2 micrometer. Okay, so the next filter that is required for this experiment is acid wash ashless hard filter finish filter paper, sufficiently retentive for the fine particle, and the pore size of the filter paper is around 2 to 2.5 micrometer, which is equivalent to a Wattmann filter number 542. And the next filter that we required is a Gouge crucible, 30 ml capacity with 2.12 or 2.4 centimeter in diameter, glass fiber filter disc, Wattmann or equivalent. Okay, next that is the next filter that is required is a centrate disc G5 or its equivalent with the pore size 1 to 2 micrometer. Next is your membrane filter, 0.4 micrometer membrane. Okay, so this is about the apparatus filter. That next instrument that we required is a filtering assembly, depending upon the type of the filter selected. Okay, so all the filter that we already discussed, according to them we decided the filtering assembly. Then we also required a drying oven with a thermostatic controller for maintaining the temperature up to 180 plus minus 2 degrees Celsius. We required a desiccator which provide a color indicating desiccant, analytical balance, 200-gram capacity, and it is also capable of weighing to a nearest 0.1 milligram. Magnetic stirrer with a Teflon coated stirring bar. So these are what they are, the equipments that we required for performing the experiment. That is your filtering assembly, drying oven, desiccator, filtering assembly, drying oven, desiccator, analytical balance, and magnetic stirrer. Now, the next is your sample handling and preservation. We all know that when we collect a sample, so as soon as possible, we have to perform the experiment, because it is not advisable that we put the sample or preserve the sample, because the preservation of the sample is not a practical. Okay, but if we have to preserve we have but if we have to store that sample, then it should be stored at 4 degrees Celsius temperature, so that it will minimize the microbiological decomposition. Okay, now see what is written in a slide. Preservation of the sample is not practical. Analysis should begin as soon as possible, because when we put the sample for a storage, then there is a biological changes occur into it, due to which their property will also changes. Refrigeration or chilling to 4 degrees Celsius to minimize the microbiological decomposition of solid is recommended. Now the next is your procedure. Okay, the first step is that heat the clean evaporating dish to a 180 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. What we have to do, first of all, we take a evaporating dish, we clean it, and then we heat it at 180 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Then it should be cool into a desiccator, and then we store in a desiccator until ready for a use. Okay, so when we until this evaporating this use, it should be kept in a desiccator. Now filter a portion of the sample through any of the filter which is mentioned in the previous section, and select the volume of the sample which has a residue between 25 to 250 milligram, which are preferably between 200 to 200 milligram. This volume may be estimated from a value of specific conductance to obtain a measurable residue. Now successive aliquots of filtrate sample may be added to the sample dish. Now, stir volume of sample with a magnetic stirrer or shake it vigorously. Now, pipette this volume to a way evaporating dish and place it into a steam bath. Evaporation may also be performed in a drying oven. Now, temperature of the drying oven should be at the range of 98 degrees Celsius, so that it will prevent the boiling and splitting of the sample. After the complete evaporation of the water from the residue, now transfer it into a dish and put it into an oven at 103 to 105 degrees Celsius or 179 to 181 degrees Celsius, and dry to a constant mass. Okay, so what we have to do, every 30 minutes we take a mass, and when we get a constant mass, we um, stop the process. Now, till the difference in a successive weighing is less than 0.5 milligram, drying for a long duration, usually 1 to 2 hours, is done, so that it will eliminate the necessity of checking for a constant mass. The time for drying to a constant mass with a given type of sample, when a number of the sample of nearly same type are to be analyzed, has to be determined by a trial. Now weigh the dish as soon as it is cool. Avoid the residue to stay for a long time, as some residue are hygroscopic and may absorb water from a desiccant that is not absolutely dry. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to take a one precaution here. We have to weigh the dish as soon as this dish will be this dish has to be cool, so that it will avoid the uh, gain of the absorb of the water, because some residue are what they are hygroscopic in nature. Now the next one is the calculation part. So calculate the filterable residue by the following equation, that is equal to 1000 m divided by v. M is equal to what? M is equal to what? Mass in milligram of filterable residue, and v is a volume in ml of the sample. Filterable residue milligram per liter is equal to 1000 m divided by v. M is equal to what? Mass in milligram of filterable residue, and v is a volume in ml of the sample. Now the report in whole number for less than 100 milligram per liter, and 3 significant figure for a value above 100 milligram per liter. Report the temperature and determination. So this is all about the determination of total solid. I hope you will understand, but if you have any query related to this topic, you can ask me in a comment box, or for a further detail you can follow the ITLS Academy on different platform, that is your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and subscribe our channel ITLS Academy on YouTube and get our app from a Google Play. Or for a further query you can ask your query to the helpline number that are already mentioned in your slide, that is 7080833450. Visit our website www.itlsacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel.